start working different stuff. Training partners who are on the top attacking, just put yourself in a different position every time and let them work out of it, okay? Any questions? Nice and easy. If you want resistance, tell them, hey, move a little faster, give me some more pressure, all right? And yo. Work those fancy Herculean escapes. If you never thought this might work or might not work, give it a shot. Remember, always in a good spot. We're talking about dominant top, closed guard, half guard, feet to hips, two hands on the collar sleeve. Chest pressure on the finish the sweep, go ahead. This is your practice warm-up time. Time.
John Morgan and Morgan and Morgan. When I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. If you or anyone
All right, guys. So today we're gonna go. Marty had some good questions. So today we're gonna go over what we were talking about, and it's kind of past in the knee shield. What to do if the person's in that position. This can work. There'll be some variations for D and no D, but a lot of this, when you're passing this, I usually don't use a lot of D grips until it's necessary, because you want to be able to disconnect and move in these scenarios. So, give me your bestest knee shield. All right, so we're here, guys. We're in this knee shield, and if somebody's good at the knee shield, they can use it to keep you locked in here. And if you pass it, it's usually pretty difficult. It's not something that you can just slide right through. But we're going to give you some strategy here to make this work. So, a knee shield, when it's passive knee shield, called passive, he's just kind of here floating around, right? If I try to make a hard move one way or the other, he'll engage his legs. He might even put this top foot on top of his bottom foot so that he can do this and create a lever that puts this shin into my hip. He can pinch his knees together and really accentuate that by pushing hard with his feet, and that creates a lever on my hip. So if I'm coming in like this, he just pushes me away, right? Also, if I'm just being stubborn and trying to pull this leg back, him doing that, he can drive the top of his shin, that sharp bony part, into my thigh or my hip, and it's uncomfortable. And it's meant to be uncomfortable. It slows me down. It's supposed to stop me from passing, right? Even if I'm trying to come up on my feet, I'm gonna femur slice myself, or hamstring, quad, whatever. It's just pain, right? So when we talk about passing this, if he's a passive and it's just kind of here, well, he's not gonna allow me to. He's keeping this stiff and shot across. This is nice and connected to my hip. He might turn the dial up to my chest if he feels like that's gonna stop me, or he may lower it a little bit. All right? When they play this or this, then they're in the extreme. They're either really low or they're really high, maybe toward the shoulder. Okay? These are a little bit, and unless the person's really good at it, they may be, but these are kind of the extremes for this knee. And we can exploit these advantages that they're giving us, right? So, harder one is this, okay? Because what we need to do is what we really need is our arm on the inside of his thigh. We want our hand to be in his hip, okay? Now, there's some dangers to this. With anything, there's a risk and reward. But let's get here first. If I went here with my hand on his hip, my arm is completely exposed. He can grab my wrist, he can grab my elbow, the tricep, he can start doing all kinds of stuff, right? At the very least, if you take his hand like you did and pin it on the hip, just press down, and now it's tough for me to pull this away. All I'm really doing is just applying pressure, right? See how you can lever his knee, start working. So, how do I get in here if he's not letting me? Outside hand is going to grab under this, and if you have to come up to your feet, you do, and you're just going to come center. As you come center, your hand is on the hip, you're going to swing your elbow in, and you're going to bend it. You're not going to keep it straight. You're going to bend it. And your forearm is now in connection with the inside of the socket. And you can move your elbow out and about in order to create more pressure. But we're not going to stay here. We're going to come back this way. But now we have a lever. Notice how it opened his hips up. Now, some of the dangers from here will be him pulling my arm forward for an arm bar, especially when I advance to this position. If I'm coming up the pass and I've got my hand in his hip and I'm using this to lever open, see he's grabbing my sleeve, I need to pass this leg and come in. The danger that you run into is either arm bar or triangle when he goes for that wrist. So here, I come center, I bring my elbow in, I drop low. If I'm lazy, And I just kind of don't put pressure on his hip. My hand's just kind of here, and I'm flinging this elbow out. He can pop that off and bring it across his chest. Yep. And at the very least, I'm getting swept in my back, taking in all kind of embarrassing things. Worst case is you go pop up and they pull you right in the triangle. Only on sit like that. Come up, come inside, then I'm going to bend in the elbow, and come back to the side, applying the pressure to open this up. You can do it seated, here, you can knee slice through. You can start passing like this, keeping the pressure there. If you need to, you can drop your shoulder in, your head. But notice what he did initially. He put his hand straight out and blocked my shoulder. Here. And this is great, because if he tries to, I'm going to do a couple things if I need to. One, I want to keep connection with his thigh, because as I disconnect, his leg can move around. And you're looking at that, a lasso. Shoot a lasso. Oh, there it is. Boom. Now, the reason that lasso was a little difficult is I was down. If my arm is out, good lasso.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
It's a little easy, okay? But if I bend this elbow, maybe bring my hand in, my shoulder, go ahead and lasso. Yeah, it's tough, right? And if I stand up and drive pressure into that thigh, it's tough. I walk center to walk back around. He's pushing on the shoulder, he doesn't like it. That's great, because now I'm past. I can either drop my knee in here, I can slide in. But let's talk about a finish real quick. If they push on your hip or push on your shoulder, and their arm is extended, especially in the heat, you have an opportunity for arm lock. Now, the hesitation is going to be, how do I come in and get the arm lock? So, it's deceptive. I'm going to show you. You're going to think, oh, I see what you do to get the arm lock, but it's the part you're not seeing. Okay? Here, boom, he pushes on my shoulder. I come here, I'm going to grab. And then you get it when you need to get it. Now, the knee across can be intimidating. Not only for the person on bottom, but for your training partner. If you're not trying to hurt your training partner, you're like, dude, I want to shoot my knee off, blast his face with a kneecap, right? So what is your landmark for the knee is the shoulder. That's where you're going to point it. And it's depending on the size of your training partner and yourself and your leg, touching your knee on that shoulder, good job. That's not the part that keeps the arm on. Top your foot, hug it underneath the shoulder. It's the first one. That's where you're going to feel the top of your foot touch the back of the shoulder. If I don't, and I shoot my knee across, here, you get your arm back, and he comes in. Even if I put all my weight on that knee, go ahead, bring your arm down. Get your arm out. But if I shoot here, go ahead and bring your arm out, I'll fall before that arm comes out. And then if I bring my hips behind it, go ahead and bring that arm out. From here, we keep things pinched. Go ahead and bring that arm out. Pull that arm back. Pull your arm back. Heel to the ground. Knees pinch together. Bring that arm out. That's not, obviously I'm not doing the pressure. This is just holding his head down so he can't turn into me. Sit up, sit. All right, sit down. Now, pinch knees, pull your arm out. What was missing? Foot behind the shoulder. If I have my foot in the shoulder blade, not behind the shoulder, and I'm here, even if I pinch my knees, go ahead and pull your shoulder, get your arm out, like you're doing just now. He turns up, I'm pinching hard. He can start bumping and getting that shoulder free, right? All right. Foot's underneath the shoulder. Go ahead and bump that shoulder and get it out. Little bumps, mega bumps. behind the elbow are all there is to it. It's not all. His escape is controlling, is getting his shoulder back so he can drop this elbow to the mat. Now, for this armbar mechanic, do you need to shoot across to be quick and to ensure the top of your foot, you feel it tucked behind his shoulder? You need to shoot it quick. Do you need to keep your hips behind his elbow? Yes. But just as we demonstrated, you can hook behind his shoulder with that foot. That's your first anchor. Your knee sitting over here is your second pin. Anchor, pin, hips behind here are going to come naturally if you hit those landmarks, right? Then you isolate, and normally I sit up and say up top if I'm coming from an S mount or some other kind of mounted armbar. And this one I sit, right? Because it's quick, behind his shoulder, and I sit to my bottom and isolate. Usually I'll take one hand and push with the other one to stop it from getting grip. Once I've got it far enough away, then what happens is I can adjust and do what I need to do. Now, when it comes to them reaching each other, can you reach up and grab this hand with your other hand? What did he just do to make that happen? Rotated the shoulders. You saw it. Right? Go ahead and go back. Can you reach up and grab it? He can reach up, he didn't turn his shoulders as much, right? He can still reach, arms are long, by your opposite hand is here, right? So if I don't have anything, and I'm here, and he can turn up on his shoulder, turn up, and I'm trying to block it, he can just fight through that, block his wrist. But if I'm here, go ahead and turn up, I can block it, right? And I'm keeping this at distance. Boom, boom. This foot over there keeps that down to the other side. If you're fancy, you can come in and block if you like. But this allows you to control this. Nice and tight. Let's say you grab it. Go grab it. Just let your weight hold it. Little bumps, little bumps. Not this. This is not. We get steady pressure. Notice I'm just leaning. That's why steady pressure on your grip. Not like massively pulling. I'm letting my body weight just hang on it. When I start to get to the end, I extend my legs a little bit. Give it a little bit of a pop. Don't with your lower back. Because if you let go, it's like it's going to hurt your lower back. Oh, and then that's all back. So, those are the armbar mechanics. We're going to get with our training partners. We're going to start the knee shield here. Bottom hand. We're going to either pop on our feet or at least slide up to get belly button to the roof, the hips to the ceiling. Hands going to come in, elbows going to bend, and we're going to put pressure. We're not going to hang out here. We're going to come back. Whether you come up on your feet or you slide through, keeping this pin, keeping this push. So at this point, you're going to decide how you want to pass. Training partners, just so they can get used to doing that armbar, we're going to come here. You can press there. You can press on this shoulder, either shoulder, or hip. Boom, I'm passing. Boom. We'll just nice and easy swim up, shoot our knee across, and sit here. Pinch our legs. You can let him grab it. Work from here. See if he can get out. You can do this part. Pinch your knees. Dig your heels down to the mat. See if that helps. Okay? And so, before we get with our partners, I like this drill because it keeps your heels down. I'm not a very big proponent of this type of armbar. For me, I find my legs are long, it gives them opportunity to escape. It has its moment in its places where I can pull this in tight, but I feel like this leaves a lot of space. I'm very much a traditionalist when it comes to this. Right there. Heels digging in, sticking to the mat. Okay? This drill, foot under his arm, foot here, you have to pull it in. So it adds to that, right? Any questions? 1, 3, straight arms, good shot. 1, 2, 3. point your knee this way. You got under his jam. Try to pull that arm back, Marty.
No.
You're pulling on the front half of your foot.
Yeah, no, I cannot move this leg. Yeah. The heel is like right there.
Heels close to your body. As tight as you can, knees together, knees together, knees together, like over the arm.
No, that's just full.
You gotta press this hip down, and your forearm has to connect to his thigh. If not, he's gonna whip that leg around and put it between you and him. Yeah. Because if you shoot that knee across, top of your foot stuck under his armpit, you feel it on his shoulder. Now go ahead and step over and sit. Sit down. Now pinch your knees tight. Knees tight. Down to the mat, going in. Yes. Does that feel tight? Try to get that arm back. Yep. Onto your bottom, pinch your knees. Knees tight. Go ahead, heel to the mat, pull his head in. Nice. Now let go of his arm. There. Let me get his arm back. Yeah, you're gonna try to shoot his shoulders this way. But try to scoot out. Scoot out. Right? See how much he's moving there? Now you're not using your arms yet.
Yeah, a little.
So you're gonna put your weight to get your foot free to come under. Guys, you gotta put your weight on that far shoulder with your knee. I know it sucks for your training partner, but hey, they don't call this the Jizzle art for nothing. There you go. See how you floated into it? Please. Deeper. Yep. Let go of your hands. Let your hands go. Get your knees together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it up. Yeah. It's gonna be a test for your legs. If your legs are used to, they're gonna be wobbly shape. Mine do too. I don't always walk around pinning stuff up. The more you do it, the stronger you're gonna get.
I know the entry is a lot better.
Good.
So yeah, put your weight on his far shoulder.
Yeah.
So when you're here, if you're timid, we don't want to do nothing, right? So you're gonna put your weight there. Stay on all, and he makes that noise. But my foot is free to get tucked here and now here. So now here, go ahead and get that back. Notice when you put pressure here, also slide it over So, when I was confused, I thought you had to get your foot up there, but start to here. So that's just tight. It doesn't even have to be on the ground right now. No. They're both. And then just sit.
Okay.
This is keeping me.
Yeah.
Providing your show on this side.
Yeah, that's what even the first time I was like, I can't. Right.
I let go, he's set. Jammed up.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. Like we're working on that. I said, we'll let you bring it.
Yeah. No, that
Once you start to see that, so when you're up front, you're pulling, that's actually providing that one.
Oh, so when you're sitting up,
Just that. Or it must be not and turning it back is like off the choke with the arm pressure. Just let your body weight rest.
Yeah, so because when I first saw it, I thought it was happening like a 14 pitch. But it's really
Because I know I'm driving down here.
like a cross first and then catch into the arm.
Yeah, that.
I'll find the actual landmarks of that thing. It's in this physical law. If you try that, I think you'll feel safe.
I think that's what I was trying to get my foot in first.
That's even hard to do because it's a I gotta stop this leg. I was making that fist and that right there. Yeah, because the hitchhiker, like, this was making me stop. Oh, really? Yeah, that's not. Put it there. Shoot it across head. All your weight on it. All the way down. Right there. Yeah. Right across my head. All right, I'm here. Your kids in tight. Go ahead and wrap your hands around my wrist. And then I just need you to let your body weight set. Don't pull. Just let your body weight catch. You can tell when someone pulls, there's a lot more intensity to it than when someone just hangs and sags. So it's a constant little steady pressure there. But eventually it still makes you like you can't let go, right? If you were to pull hard, and you keep pulling, eventually you get tired and you adjust it. And then I come in. But if you just let it relax with steady pressure and you don't use muscles, there's never a time when there's a let off. So the only thing I can really do from here is I'm just gonna.
Before you do, you'll get your body better so you know your balance.
If I can. But if you activate that knee, pinch your knees together, that's going to take off my ability to do much, right? Let your body weight set. There you go. So I would have to like. That's tough. It's tough. Unless you're talking about actually do a super sneaky like let it go real quick and you're not looking to turn it to them so I can get out.
Okay.
Even with
I'm sorry. I just need to get that foot to get shoulder.
Yeah. No, that was a lot.
Yeah.
that's
I know that.
okay. And then it mitigates the front. It was hard to turn. It was hard to get on that.
All right, guys. So another variation of the passing of the knee shield. We got it allotted to the arm bar, but let's not overlook the passing of the knee shield, right? We're here. We grab this bottom one. We get ready to put our hand in the hip. We bring center. We drop this in. And we're not just out here, we're in the hip. Blade in the hip. Right? Elbow and forearm touching, then touching the knee here, or the thigh, rather. If he's in this scenario, let's just say I go back this way, here, and he's grabbing like that, I'm clearing the legs, and I can drop pressure in here. Sorry. Pressure in here. Go ahead and reinsert. And I'm turned, and I'm stopping his legs. I'm not really concerned about any attacks right this second. I'm just really worried about pinning him on the mat. Keeping his shoulders there. Once I clear, I can drop a knee in like we said before, to the hip, or you can bring your hand in and get the same side as you're applying this pressure. Where you want to be, you can come across. Let's do the same thing, practicing the knee shield pass. Lifting, getting center, hand, blade in the hip, forearm connected. Then we're going to pass that leg. We're going to put our pressure in, whether you want to do head or shoulder, and then from there, with your hand on the knee, hand in the hip, shoulder pressure here, see if your training partner can get their leg back. See if you can pass. Give yourself a little really time. Okay? And then try to end up in a good spot when they try to get out. About 30%, nothing too crazy. All right? 1, 3, 1, 3. Go back. Go back. Go to the knee shield. I take my left hand, grab the outside the bottom knee, and I'll hand. Nice. Now connect. Now stand back up. Stand up, shoulders down, and as you come low. You can do a knee slide or stand up, tripod up. Tripod your legs back. All your pressure in. Right? There you go. Picking up. So here, already got it. Now, get underneath
inside knee, but not inside portion. Sometimes you need to shove it over there, but he's lost. I'm gonna try to resist.
Okay. Right? Sometimes you may have to zoom it in, and then I come in like this. See, he's already grabbing the ground. I want to put pressure with small weight up on the side, like pull my arm across. See how I'm hanging it inside my side? So if he goes to pull it over, look how far you gotta be. I can also grab his here as well, and I can do this. This might be something that's an option to use. Come in here.
Before you abandon.
Okay. Here's something else.
But then you do want to stay, you do want to stay close, so I can't get an accident. And then once you're comfortable with this, literally.
So drop your hand on the bottom and just move to the so go back over where you can get there. Back it up. Here. He's not letting you bring it this way. Right? So bring it over. Put your hand all in. I want your forearm on his thigh, pushing it away. Let your body sink in. Okay, and if he keeps his legs over your legs, put your knee towards me. There you go. It's gotta be like this.
Oh, okay.
If both your legs are like that, for me, go ahead, put it back. He's over. He's there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. So there, right? So now go ahead and stand up and start to circle here. Drop your shoulder in, pressure, 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 and there you go.
Do you like the walking around or the knee slice better?
I usually I'm long and tall. So if I come in here, right? First thing I'm gonna do is turn.
Right.
So I'm gonna come back this way. Drop this in. A lot of times, if I come in here like this, I'm gonna start pushing that forward. Here, in the hip, and I'll step back. You try my knee on your side, and you're gonna try to have it. Yeah. And I just turn my yeah. Oh, that's good.
Oh,
So what about like say me against you? Your legs are longer. I still can get that distance.
So, connection. Knee slice might be better for here. So we're here. You walk me up, you get the hand in there. So here, you may want to do knee slice, but you may just want to drop your shoulder first. So if I'm doing this, yeah, let go. So it's not like you're trying to grind it, you're just letting your weight. Just like when you sat back. Yeah, see how you're moving around my legs? Well, I've got to like come in and do stuff. And that way, the bullet before church, right here. I will get in. So I like it because I'm longer, and I can. Yeah, now I'm always gonna slice. They like knee slice. Knee slice presents you. So just know that sometimes if you knee slice,
I can still get caught like forward guard or whatever it's called.
yeah.
Like facing you, thinking it's gonna be the bottom left. It's gonna work.
It'll work either way. That's why in here is where you do a shot. We're always go first. It's a bottom leg. You guys make sense. You guys good? Whether it's the top leg facing this way, come in. You're gonna do. Up on your feet, Marty. There it is.
Side control. Hip shoulders.
Nice.
Left. Where you gonna be?
All right, guys.
Ghost face.
So, any questions about any of that stuff? Somebody had a good question. He's like, hey, if it's me against you, you got longer legs, longer limbs, what I need to do the knee slice versus the standing up and pushing the knee down. That really just depends on the scenario and what's going on. Because once you get up in that tripod position, there's a lot of space and it's quite antithetical to the mentality of if you're on top, take space away, right? But this is not a place where you're gonna stand there and stay there forever. You're up, you're moving, you're trying to close the distance. That's why I like to drop a shoulder in, start putting some pressure. When you're putting that shoulder in, you don't really have to drive hard or really try and pull and squeeze. Let your weight just kind of hang. Let it kind of sag in there. That person might be able to stiff arm it for a good little bit, but if you stay diligent with it, you're holding on, just letting it weigh, just like when you got the arm bar, you're letting your weight just kind of sag, eventually it's gonna start to wear, okay? It is a little bit awkward when you first get up there like that, it's all that space and all that opportunity for people to move. Just practice it, go over it, and over it, try to figure it out. You get to a spot where it's jammed up, you can ask myself, you can ask some of these other guys who play that game a little bit, and we'll work on it, we'll get you figured out, okay? All right, on three, let's